There's one dude in the hot rod sector that never seems to get much notice these days. He has been recognized, along with Carroll Shelby and Boy Connington, as one of the finest of all time. Who exactly is this guy? It is Chip Foose. If you just found the channel and you love incredible cars, you're at the right place. Some really outstanding hot rods have been seen. But have you ever found yourself thinking, I wish I could have that, when you spotted a car that drew your attention? Is there a movie car that really makes you stop and think? Chip Foose is one of the individuals who can make it happen, but he has a cost. This isn't Disneyland for car lovers. We're talking about Chip Foose, the man who created the Overhaulin program. In this video, we'll discuss a variety of topics such as whether he still maintains cars, what he got for his 50th birthday, what he does these days, and much more. Put on your seatbelt. This will be a thrilling journey. Chip Foose is a special kind of car designer. He was born in Santa Barbara, California on October 13, 1963. He started working on cars at his father's business, Project Design, when he was 7 years old. At the age of 12, he painted his first car, a Porsche 356 himself. His training became a passion, and several encouraged him to enroll in college to seek a degree in design. He struggled financially for a few years until graduating in 1990. He began by working for Sternberger Design and Boyd Coddington's Hot Rod Garage. In November 1997, Foose was honored as the newest member of the Hot Rod Hall of Fame. A year later, Foose and his wife Lynn established Foose Design, an automotive design company in Huntington Beach, California, to replace hot rods by Boyd. They are currently content with their life and their 2 children. Boyd soon lost the majority of his other employees when Foose's garage recruited them. Their split was not pleasant, to put it mildly. The reason for Foose's success was a 2003 TLC documentary. Featured the 2002 Ford Thunderbird that he transformed into a Speedbird, which is a whole other kind of vehicle. As Foose gained popularity on the network, he was given his own show, Overhaulin, very soon after. The car overhaul was a special form of demonstration. Every presentation included a practical prank on the person who was going to win the mark, their dream car. This included the fact that Mark's car needed to be hauled to the shop for repair because it was taken away, or in such poor condition. Foose and the A-team would go all out, often spending as much as 4 hours fully concealing themselves for these realistic practical tricks. They would figure out a way to get the car into the garage so they could begin the repair. After that, the team had 8 days to modify the stolen car to become the Mark's dream car. If you think that 8 days isn't long enough to finish fixing a car, you're right. Most of the commotion around this deadline was unnecessary. For instance, components were selected in advance to guarantee their compatibility with the vehicle being restoration. The squad seldom made errors and got along well with each other in the garage. Overhaulin had a fantastic run. It lasted on television for 10 years, with 119 episodes spread over 10 seasons and various specials. There were a few noteworthy errors committed, such the 4-year gap between seasons 9 and 10. After switching networks to Discovery in its last season, the show made its premiere under the Warner-owned Motor Trend banner. Furthermore, you may remember that Foose and Johnny Depp conned Amber Heard into thinking her Mustang was a luxurious hot rod in the season 9 opener. In between working on the Overhaulin project, Foose was winning awards for his hot cars on both sides. His cars received 4 Detroit Autorama Riddler Awards. Furthermore, Foose has produced very small quantities of unique artworks for major businesses. A limited edition. In 2007, Foose worked with Ford to create the Foose Stallion, a limited edition Ford Mustang. It could only turn out around 3,000 parts annually. If you don't think that's too little, Foose only made 5 of its most famous car, the Hemisphere, also known as the Foose Coupe. Not at all. Not just that, however. Not only were Foose's cars turned from junk to treasures, but some of them were also made into die-cast reproductions. Because he liked modifying cars, he also founded the toy firm Ride Makers, working with inventor Maxine Clark and Build-A-Bear founder Larry Andreini. Foose's model was admitted into the Model Car Hall of Fame in November 2009. In addition to the real cars, Foose's dramatic versions of them also took home awards. But according to the official Chip Foose website, Overhaulin isn't accepting applicants right now. Season 10 came to an end in February 2020. What happened to this fascinating show? The biggest factor was definitely the show's illusion, but there were other factors to take into account as well. For the sake of the camera, Overhaulin's primary objective was to anger affluent car owners. Let's assume for the sake of this discussion that you are the owner of a vintage car. Perhaps while you like driving it, you can't help but think that it may need some upgrades, or perhaps just a simple tune-up. You have no clue who phoned the young men about remodeling, a friend or your partner. Two people in suits suddenly come up to you and say they would like to inspect your fake car. Just to be cautious, they guarantee that they will give it back to you within a week. By the time it returns, your car has undergone significant modification. Yes, just what you've been searching for. But maybe you're worried. For the benefit of the camera, you seem enthusiastic, but that enthusiasm soon fades. It's nearly just what you were thinking. There are instances when something is somewhat riskier than a 4 rather than a 5. According to one mark, their modified car was unable to drive on public roads. The showrunners ignored him and then took it to the streets. It became too hot very fast. Even though Foose and his team often achieve better outcomes than this, cases like this one absolutely beg to be sued. If these practical jokes make use of fictional government figures, they might be dangerous. Holland's specific formula isn't flawless, even if there wasn't any scandal going on behind closed doors. A program that uses expensive cars for realistic practical jokes? There is a lot of risk associated with such an idea, even if the first shock of the practical jokes generally wears off quickly, since they are usually revealed early in the show. In the end, Shaquille O'Neal received a fantastic car, so at least it was all worthwhile. It's likely that there were issues with extra paperwork or taxes. Most of the cars undergoing overhauls and alterations costed between $40,000 and $50,000. After the upgrades were finished, the value had often risen to $100,000 to $200,000, and in other cases, it had almost quadrupled. The opposite may also happen if the older car was still in very good condition.